Welcome back to the Real Reset. I am so excited you are here. We are gearing up for fall. And I say that, yes, it's over like 100 degrees outside, but in my head, I've decided it's time to start welcoming fall. And so we are getting ready for it. And one of the ways we're getting ready for it is by doing this real reset. And I love this time of year because we are coming off summer. Schedules are crazy, chaotic, days are longer. We're usually sleeping in later. And it's this really natural invitation to reset our rhythms and realign them with some of our goals. And that's coming from a place of gratitude. For me personally, I had an amazing summer hanging out with my two boys, just soaking in those summers I have left with them, but also like coming to the end of my rope with them because we've been together for a few months now. And it's time for everyone to be on a routine. I know you moms out there know exactly what I mean. So we are welcoming in fall with this real reset. And as I'm going to be talking about with my amazing guest, Micah Howard, today, we are talking about walking up to this reset, walking up and warming up for it. I love her insight. I love her energy. She is someone who's been on my team for many years and is coming in at a new capacity this fall. And so I'm excited to have her on the show as we unpack some of the lies that keep us stuck and how we can properly warm up for an effective reset. Guys, these podcasts are dropping every week this month. So excited about that. But ultimately, these are warming us up for the live masterclass on September 2nd, where we are going to gather together in person. I love these things because, here in the podcast world, it's so fun. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love this. I can go off on a rant for a long time. Sometimes, like, my squirrel brain takes over. But what's so cool about these master classes is we get to come together live. And so if you have questions, you can drop them and I can answer them in real time. I get to see your face. I get to see who's on the other end of this microphone. And we just get to come together for this collective goal of empowered eating. So make sure you save the date for September 2nd. Reserve your spot in that class. You can find all of the information in the show notes. And if you're enjoying this Real Reset podcast series, I have an idea. Why don't we share it? If you share it on any social media platform and tag me, I'm actually only on Instagram at Jess Brown RD. So if you share me somewhere else, cool, just screenshot it and email it to us. But we are actually going to select some winners to receive my favorite supplement, sleep supplement stack. Guys, these are my two favorites, and they just work wonders for those of you that have busy brains and have a hard time shutting off at night. Maybe you're going through some perimenopause stuff. Hello, I'm there with you. These two are absolutely amazing. I've got a sleep stress relief and a magnesium glycinate that's just this magic combo. So if you want to enter to win those, please, please, please share this episode, share something we share on social. All you've got to do is make it known that we are resetting together. And then we're announcing that winner live at the masterclass, but you got to be present to win. Guys, so excited today. Like I mentioned, we are diving in to the real reset this week, unpacking some of the lies. And, before we get into it, I got to tell you this last thing. I was reading in one of these amazing books that I'm reading. It's called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And she was talking about perfectionism. And she mentioned how perfectionism, as we know, keeps us very, very stuck. And I see that to be something so prominent in the empowered eating world. It's like we want to eat perfectly and then we're trying to let all that go, but then we want to, go into the empowered eating world perfectly. And so much of what Micah and I are talking about today is going to help demystify why that just isn't possible. But one of the things I took away from Julia Cameron's book this morning was she discussed how perfectionism is often disguised in the words, I can't. I can't stick to a meal plan. I can't stick to a plan. I can't exercise at this time. We have all these I can'ts. And she said, what we're really saying when we say the words I can't is that I'm not willing to do it imperfectly. And I felt like a dagger to my heart because how many times have I done that? Both with my health journey, with my self-growth goals, with my parenting, like I just can't do X, Y, and Z. And really what I'm saying is I'm not willing to approach it with a mindset of curiosity. I'm not willing to do it and mess up. And I think that can be really hard for some of us to let go. So I know today's episode is going to help us push past that perfectionism as we walk into this real, deeply rooted reset. I'm so honored you are here today. Let's go ahead and dive in. As we come off of a busy summer and step into a new season, I think we're all looking for a little reset. But what if this was the moment you actually broke the all or nothing cycle? Imagine waking up with energy regardless of the season you're in and feeling not just comfortable, but confident in your body, confident enough to wear the outfit and finally understand how to balance taking care of yourself so it isn't selfish, but it actually allows you to fully show up for the people that you love. That is exactly why I created this podcast, The Real Reset. Together, we'll unpack why what used to work isn't working anymore, the biggest lies we've been told about weight loss, nutrition, and hormones, and how your body has been communicating to you all along. Because, my friend, your body isn't broken, it just has a story to tell. You'll find new podcast episodes dropping every week this month, but that's just the beginning. Together, we're creating a reset that goes beyond the all or nothing approach, a rooted reset built to last even through the holidays. You'll find that here in the series through the resources sent to your inbox and in our live Real Reset Masterclass happening on September 2nd. Be sure you're following along and get all the resources sent straight to your inbox by joining the reset. You'll find the link to join in the show notes. Because, my friend, it's time to reconnect, restore, and reclaim. Your real reset starts now. Oh my God, I am so excited for this conversation today. Welcome to the Fuel Her Awesome podcast again.
Thanks, Jess. It's good to be here.
Now, those who haven't heard you before, heard your story, we actually did a series a few months back where you walked through some of your own empowered eating journey, and we'll touch a little bit on that today. But first, let's just give some background to the folks who don't know you. You and I are going on our 5th year of knowing each other.
Wild, yeah.
It's so wild. But tell me a little bit about just like what's going on in your life right now. You have some really exciting things happening.
Yeah. So I'm in a really fun season of life right now. I just graduated from getting my degree in psychology from Texas A&M.
Mhm.
So I'm a new post grad and I'm also newly engaged. So I got engaged, I
Cool.
think, a little bit over a month ago. So I'm in the midst of wedding planning and all the things. So lots of fun.
Do you guys have a date yet?
I think so. We're thinking for the fall,
Oh my
so
gosh.
very quickly. But yeah.
I love that. That's how my husband and I did it. You know, we once we knew, and we were like, let's not waste any time. Let's get this done and start our lives
Totally.
together.
Absolutely.
Now you also like your personal life has been just on pretty like fast pace as of late, but you've also been
Yeah.
doing a lot with your health and your nutrition. Now, when you and I first met, we had a whole season that we walked through and really walked into empowered eating. But what was cool is once you got there, it kind of opened up this curiosity for health and understanding nutrition on another level. And it's actually sparked your desire to help people do the same. So tell me a little bit about, where you're at with your journey in nutrition, both personally and then now professionally, and what you're really excited to start bringing to the empowered eating world.
Yeah, that's such a good question. So I'll start with personally. I've actually been thinking about this a lot recently. I just got back from going on vacation in Europe. It was amazing. We went to London, and there was just so much yummy food there. And I spent a lot of time reflecting while we were away, just realizing that so many times when we had sat down together one on one, this was my freshman year of college, so
Yeah.
the 5 years ago, where it's almost felt impossible to be able to go on vacation and enjoy. And I remember you using this language of how you were able to experience it, and I felt like I would never get there, you know? I felt so far from that. And while we were in London, I really felt like, oh my gosh, I understand what Jess meant. Like, I really feel okay. I really feel free. I really feel like I have a choice to be intentional. I have a choice to enjoy, and it doesn't carry the same kind of weight that it did before, where before it felt like every decision I made had something to say about me. And if I didn't pick the quote unquote right thing, it just would crash the rest of my day, you know? And so that's not the case anymore. And so from the very beginning of us meeting together, I realized just how much more complex health really is. It's not just exercise. It's not just food. It's so much more integrated than that. And so I just felt this fire inside of me to be a voice in a world where there's a lot of you should be doing this and it should look like this for you. And it's so different for everybody. And so I'm just so excited to be able to come alongside people just with a voice of grace, a voice of safety, a
Mhm.
voice of empowerment. I love that word that you always use. So that's where I'm at, and that's why professionally I want to go into this field as well.
Yeah, so well said. And so you've just pursued a certification in holistic nutrition, and I'm
Hmm.
so excited you're going to be joining us inside the Empowered Eating Academy as a coach and just guiding people. Up until this point, you've been like onboarding folks, so you really held people's hand in that initial process, but now you're going to get to come alongside people and just dive in deeper. And I'm so excited for that. Now, I love what you said because we are in the middle of our real reset, and this is a season where I think most people are coming off of chaotic schedules, vacations. We're just out of our normal routine. And what you just captured is so valuable, right? Because you just captured like going on this amazing trip overseas and being able to just enjoy food and not feel like bogged down, like, oh, I've got to pay for this when I get back. And so I think that's so cool that you're bringing this insight to this specific topic, because what we're talking about today is how do we like separate truth from lies around nutrition. And we first want to just identify what those lies are. And so I'm curious, like in your experience, especially over this last, summer, and feeling like, oh, I get it. Like this is empowered eating. What are some of the lies that you were like, those were lies that I was living by, but I was believing them to be true. Do you know what some of those are?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I'm like, I feel like we could go out and list
Mm-hmm.
50, you know, but I would
Probably.
say the number one for me personally was you will be more worthy once your body is perfect.
Mm,
You
mm,
know,
yeah.
like just all around you. I've struggled with chronic illness. I've talked about that in
Mm-hmm.
episodes in the past. So whether it was, sickness or struggling with disordered eating patterns,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it might be, it was once you get this figured out, you'll be more worthy.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty fun to watch, the season that I'm in being engaged and about to be married, how I really feel like my fiance has helped me break from that
So
narrative. Like
cool.
it's just not about that.
So do you not find yourself going in like, okay, I gotta get fit and trim for my wedding dress. I gotta get my
Right.
arms toned.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much one of the number one narratives, especially for women in
Mhm.
wedding season
Yep.
planning, that's served. And I for sure at the very beginning felt like, okay, now's the time to really lock in.
Mhm.
And I actually just felt this release with it. And we've talked about it a lot, but just that it is okay for me to be loved in
Yeah.
the midst of imperfection,
Hmm.
including my body,
Hmm.
It does not have to be perfect. And I'm so free to be
Yeah.
intentional. I'm so free to exercise however I want to. I'm free to eat however I want to. But my why behind that is not going to be so that I'm perfect for my wedding
Right.
day.
Right.
How unfulfilling, you
So
know?
good. Yeah. And then it creates this unnecessary pressure. And then we see brides, gain the weight back after the
Yeah,
wedding. And just like sidebar, that yo-yoing is so much harder on your heart than even
totally.
carrying an extra 10 pounds. But so okay, you and I are both eights on the Enneagram. Like
That's right.
we go deep. We like to like get at the root and like really name maybe the harder truth. And I think I agree that lie that like I am not worthy of love until my body's perfect, or but I think eights go there, but I'm thinking like some of my three friends, some of my one friends, like they don't like think of it that way. They think of it in
Yeah.
like different layers, right? Like think of it um, oh, it's not that I don't think I'm worthy. I just want to present with my best self. Or it's not that I don't think I'm worthy. I just want to make sure I'm doing it right. And so I'm kind of curious, how have you seen that lie? Like, I'm not worthy until my body looks or feels a certain way show up in like your friends and your peers around you.
Mm, that's really good. I feel like that's a harder question for sure. Um, but I think that's why I landed on labeling that specifically because whether we realize it or not, because my brain first went to it's actually the lie is you have to be perfect, you know? Um, but I kind of went another layer deeper than that, and I'm like, why does it matter to be perfect? Why is that? What's actually under that? What does perfection offer me, you
So
know?
good.
And so I think for other people, it might be different. It might not be when I'm perfect, I'll be loved. It might be, when I'm perfect, I'll be capable. When
Yeah.
I'm perfect, I'll feel strong. When I'm
Yeah.
perfect, I'll be seen in a certain light.
Hmm.
It could be a lot of different things, but regardless, I would say that what's most vocalized in the nutrition world is you have to be perfect.
Yeah.
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 That's not true.
No, and you know what's interesting? I think the perfect, like the pressure to be perfect or present and look a certain way with a certain body type. And I think now it's like strong is the new skinny, right? Um,
Hmm.
I do think that is so prevalent in like 20s and 30s. And one thing I'm noticing in late 30s, 40s, and 50s, it's like been repackaged with it's not perfect anymore because like by now it's I just well, I know I'm not perfect like and I have like no not that like in my 20s I thought I was, but it's like I think there's that lie that we can't attain that. And now
Totally.
like I will honestly say I feel released from that, but one of the things I feel now is this pressure to like be healthy, and like that definition of health includes lymphatic drainage, drinking all the water, a red light machine, a sauna, a cold plunge, managing my hormones. Do I get Botox? Do I not get Botox? Do I get HRT? Do I not get HRT? Like it is so crazy because it's the same lie
Mm,
repackaged from perfection to like healthy. And
mm,
again, not that like being healthy, or I think even in my like 20s and 30s when like the pursuit of beauty, I would say it was beauty. Like that's what perfect was defined as. It's like those pursuits aren't necessarily bad. Like who doesn't want to feel beautiful, right? What woman, I still want to feel beautiful, and right now like what woman doesn't want to feel healthy? But it's the underlying like I can't rest and I can't be at peace until those things happen that I think are driving the angst, the anxiety, the nervous system overdrive, and a lot of the like stuckness that we feel with this.
yeah, yeah, that's so, so good. It reminds me of something you said to me pretty early on whenever you started coaching me about curiosity
Mm-hmm.
being greater than judgment. This is something you say all the time, but it's something that's really stuck with me. So, can you kind of just dive into why, with something like this, when we talk about frameworks of perfectionism, whether it's towards beauty or health, why is curiosity greater than judgment?
Yeah, because I think it like keeps the autonomy in your court. Because if
Mm,
you're curious, like it's not about passing or failing the test, it's about what can I learn and how can I grow.
that's good.
And this really invites, I think, space for discipline and flexibility, or discipline and grace, and
Mhm.
grit and grace, like however you want to couch it. But like
Yeah.
both are required. And I think that was something that was really hard for me because initially coming into the nutrition world, so much of my focus was like discipline, which turned into rigidity. And that's that whole perfectionism thing you're talking about. And then as it progressed and like I learned to like release some of that, I came into grace, which was a beautiful season. Like I needed to know my body didn't have to always be perfect, and it was okay to carry an extra 5 pounds. I didn't have to freak out about it, or
Mhm.
whatever it was. But then at the same time, there was like a season to come back to discipline too. And I think the only way I could come back to discipline and intentionality, which has been so crucial in like the last decade of my life with kids and being a working mom and a husband who's in law enforcement and on call and just chaos, like the discipline has to be there because I don't feel like doing a lot of the things I want to do sometimes, but there's so much fruit in it. But like coming to that discipline from this place of curiosity, like what would happen if I did get up early for a week because that's my thing. I love getting up
Yeah.
early. And that
A
might not
little
be
too
everybody's
early.
thing. Yeah, way too early. I know. I've been like trying to be wise with that. I'm like, should I give myself a little more sleep? But like whatever it is you want to try. But how I got there was I was curious. I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this for a week, even if I'm tired, even if I don't want to. And I'm going to see how it plays out. And if it plays out good, I'll keep doing it. If it
Yeah.
plays out poorly and it impacts my day, I will adjust it. And that allowed me to see I am happier when I would say I take on the day before it takes on you. Like I am happier when I tackle the day first. I'm happier when I sit and center myself. That's when I pray. That's when I do my prayer, my journal time. Um, it's just better. And so there was so much fruit in it. So it helped me move past that. And it was being curious. But I think with that curiosity, like we have to be willing to get it wrong sometimes and like not let that be the end of the world.
So I love that you hit on that there was that period of walking in grace that you
Mm-hmm.
had to experience to be able to make the transition back into discipline. And I remember whenever you were first coaching me, that felt wrong. Like when you
Mm-hmm.
verbalized that, it was like, that can't be true. I don't know if I really trust that because
Totally.
if I choose to lean into grace, that could mean things get so much worse and it's going to feel so much worse. So, my question to you, Jess, is I think this is a lot of times where people can get stuck is
Mm-hmm.
how do I actually trust that? How do I make that transition to lean into where I feel like I need to, but it almost seems wrong?
Well, okay, so I know how I did, but I'm curious how you did. Like, I'm going to flip that right back on you.
Oh no.
I mean, what I remember from that season of grace is like sitting in almost like just sitting in the discomfort. I call it sitting in the ick and seeing that I was okay. I mean, this was years, I mean, this was like 25 years ago when I was in college and I was overcoming my eating disorder. So, like the extreme swing here. And I know not everybody feels to this extreme, but I do remember like coming out of I struggle with bulimia, my bulimic behaviors. And I was in a like kind of like a hostel. Well, I was a hostel, yeah, in New Zealand. I was studying abroad. It was like so fun. Yeah, so fun. But it was really colored by my eating disorder at the time.
Mm.
And so I went on this week long trip with a group of friends, and we're like in this hostel. We're all in bunk beds. There's one bathroom. We're all eating together. And like I had no space to I couldn't engage in the behaviors I wanted to engage in. So I had to sit in the discomfort and like sitting in that discomfort and seeing like, I'm actually okay. Like I don't feel better, but I don't feel worse. It like
Yeah.
started to poke holes in this lie that like the obsession and the poor maladaptive behaviors were actually fixing the problem. So I had to actually sit in the discomfort, which is why I encourage people to go through curiosity and or have a posture of curiosity. And this is where I think like this is why I have a 4 month commitment in our Empowered Eating Academy because inevitably if we give someone 4 months, they will get to a point where they have to sit through some discomfort, whether it's a physical discomfort or emotional discomfort. But like getting through that discomfort and coming out the other side is where I think we build resiliency. So that's an extreme example. And I've experienced that on repeat in like different areas. But yeah, so I'm curious for you, because it is more recent for you. Like, when did you feel that the discomfort was okay to move through? Like you didn't the grace was allowed and it wasn't going to mess everything up.
Yeah, that's so, so good, Jess. It was kind of a similar-ish experience. I would say I remember I was a counselor at a summer camp and I was walking with junior and senior aged girls. And so it was a lot of girls coming in with all sorts of things that they're walking through. And of course, eating disorders were mixed in their body image issues. And every day we'd eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. We're going into the dining hall and it's mac and cheese and chicken tenders and pancakes and, all the camp food. And I remember sitting at the table watching my girls, some of them choosing not to eat, some of them, having other things that they're struggling with. And I remember feeling like I want to be on the other side of this. I don't want to be sitting here at this table
Wow.
not able to say you can be free too, and this
Hmm.
can look differently.
Hmm.
I promise.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I actually feel like I'm in the same boat here.
Wow.
So I remember because that was, right before I went to camp was when we were really meal planning and I was only eating what was on the meal plan. And then after camp, I remember calling you and being like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I actually think I want to lean into something else. And,
Hmm.
you know, that took a lot of courage. And it took a lot of courage for you, and it felt uncertain. And so I love that you hit on like it's okay to just lean into the uncomfortability. Why not?
Hmm.
Because it kind of goes back to that what if question. Like,
Yeah.
what if I leaned into this and I actually felt free?
Yeah.
What if, rather than like, that was also something you've told me before is if we're going to do the what if game, if we're going to play
Totally.
out all of these negatives, then we're going to balance it out and play it out with the positives too. And I will say that it did not come with, oh, I started leaning into grace and then my body ended up exactly how I wanted it
Yeah.
to. My story was actually I leaned into grace. I saw my body change. It was super uncomfortable. And then I lost weight, I felt more comfortable, and then I gained even more weight. Like it was just this roller coaster ride where I always felt like I'm gonna be changing and I don't know what to trust. And that was all part of it though,
Mm.
and it was going through those motions for a long time. It was years
Wow.
until I got to this past spring where I felt like, okay, it's time to be more intentional.
Hmm.
And then, vacation rolls around and I'm in London and I had this framework to
Yeah.
stand on of I am so free to enjoy this. I can trust my body. Even if I gain weight, it's okay. It's
Hmm.
totally okay. I know the
Hmm.
rhythms that I'm coming back to.
Hmm.
I know how to steward my body. I know that I actually enjoy that.
Hmm.
But I think the missing piece for me was at the very beginning of my health journey, I felt this pressure of time. It has to be
Hmm.
fixed quickly.
Hmm.
I need to get out of this quickly,
Hmm.
almost this immediate gratification thing. And so the longer that God built up endurance within inside of me to realize there's actually no rush,
Hmm.
it's okay if this takes a long time, that I feel this just pressure lifted off. Like
Yeah.
there's so much time to be intentional, there's so much time to be free, and it's okay.
Yeah. It's so good. Yeah. I mean, we're going to lean into our faith here just a bit, but like if we're talking about the entire concept of faith and like a God that loves us and unconditionally loves us, like grace is a part of that equation. And what baffles me is I see so many people forget to include that part in their health journey. Cause you're right. I think this urgency of like, oh, I got this one, bad biomarker. So now it's got to be fixed right now. And well, on the one hand, I can appreciate that because there's some like value of life. We want to steward our body well. At the same time, we've lived this long, eaten the way we've eaten, or right, like you've
Yeah,
survived this long
that's
without
right.
restricting, and you're still here. So, I mean, I think the concept of grace is so valid. But one of the things that you said that I really want to hit on is this idea that you're sitting with future generations of women and you realize if I don't walk this journey, I cannot promise them freedom. And that's something that speaks so deep to my soul because I love working with women one on one and seeing their lives transform. But what's even cooler to me is the ripple effect that that has when they go home to their daughters and their nieces and they get to show them what it's like to be free from pressure, perfectionism, unbothered by the Instagram and social media, whatever trends are trending right now, just unbothered by it
Yeah.
because, and at the same time, take care of themselves, right? Like we're not talking about apathy here. We're talking about like still taking care of your body and stewarding it well. And so I think that's so cool that that was a pivotal moment. So I'm curious, when you were at that camp, I do remember when you called me and you came back. I was like, yes, because when we went on that meal plan, oh, I remember thinking, and I do let clients lead. And again, like this, sometimes you have to get it wrong to get it
Yep.
right.
Yep.
And I remember when you wanted to go on the meal plan, I was like, well, we'll just see, I'll keep asking her the questions until we get to the root of this. And I don't pretend to know your heart. And so we went through with the meal plan, but when you called and said, I'm ready to lean in, and here's why, I was like doing cartwheels in my head. I was so excited. But I'm
Yeah.
curious, what sitting with those girls and going, okay, I have to push through this. Like, was it the presence of them that got you through the discomfort? Like, what was it that really helped you release and forge a new path?
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a good question, which I think it just requires, that faith piece
Mm-hmm.
again. Um, and it kind of gets on another a lie that I'd love to address too, and a shift that I made a little bit later on past that moment. I feel like that moment for me was almost like what I had been hiding and
Mm,
walking in and, unaware of was exposed. The light was shown on it because I could see it on the
mm,
other side. And so camp was more like, okay, this is actually what this is, and this is unhealthy, and this is not what I want.
mhm.
And there was some time in between trying to figure out what do I want
Yeah.
and what is okay and what are my values. I never thought about my values before working with you, and I didn't even know it was okay for me to have my own to think through, and so there was some time in between there, but the lie that really shifted me and kind of um, helped me to walk further into healing was um, your body is a problem to be fixed. That was something
Mm,
I was really living
mm,
under
mhm,
versus your body is a gift to be stewarded.
mhm,
And so when I was able to make this shift of, I'm good,
mhm,
I am good, I am fully good. Everything is about me is good. And I was saying that when I was sick. I was
mhm.
saying that when I had gained over 40 pounds.
Wow.
Like it was not in, a place where I felt good.
Mhm,
My feelings were very far from feeling like my body was good, but it was almost like I believe that. I believe that. And I could only believe that through the help of God and through the power of the Holy Spirit. But I'm so grateful for that moment.
mhm,
And I do want to make sure I say, like, because I am where I am now does not mean that I don't feel that tendency still.
mhm,
There's definitely still that tendency of, I feel like I want to run back and I don't feel good and it feels like a problem. But that truth has just been so solidified in me. And so
wow.
if there's really anything that I could say to women now is you are good and you
Mhm.
operate out of being good and you make choices out of being good. There's no rush. There's nothing that needs to be fixed, even in the midst of health, like we were talking
Mhm.
about, or the midst of wanting to be beautiful in a different way. So anyways, that's
So
what I would
good.
say.
Yeah, it's that concept of like from worth instead of for worth, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Okay, so I'm thinking I love this conversation, and you're right. I think we could pick apart 50 plus lies
Oh, totally.
and like bring it back. But, this conversation will continue. You will be popping in and out of the show in the times to come. But I want to like give these people who are listening and thinking, gosh, I really relate to this. Whether it's in the season of pursuit of beauty and perfection or the season of pursuit of hormone balance, whatever it is, we're in the middle of this reset. And so what I'm so passionate about in this reset is that it's not like a here's a 12-day detox, or and not that those can't be helpful,
Sure,
but I just think we have to have these conversations before we integrate some of the like core nutrition tools, which is what we're going to do when we meet live on September 2nd. But like, what can people do right now? How can they transition into this new season of reset, because we are returning to some rhythms? Yeah, like, what are you doing coming off vacation, going into like a more routine schedule that's going to be coming and shifting? How are you resetting from this place from worth, not for worth?
yeah, that's a good question, and I want to ask you too.
Yeah.
But for me personally, and I was just doing a coaching call where this was our plan for her
Mhm.
too. But just coming off of vacation, my fiance and I actually talked about, okay, let's do a 40-day challenge and
Yeah.
just see what happens. And we decided a bunch of different things,
Cool.
like no social media, stuff like that. But coming off of vacation, I recognized I need a warm up. Like nobody wants to exercise without
Mm,
warming up first. I won't feel ready for this huge challenge until I just have a chance to kind of ease in, you
yeah.
know? And so for me, that's what it looks like right now, being gone for 10 days. And now this week is I went to the grocery store. I'm going to eat some Whole Foods this week, kind of get back into exercising. I kind of put a loose, I'd like to move at least 3 times
So
this
good.
week. Just different things like that to where then next week I want to bump it up a little bit.
Mhm.
But at least I've had that time to kind of shift into doing more of a challenge. So that's where I'm
So
at.
good. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, because I think the word reset means like all in extreme, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love that. And that's what we're doing in these weeks building up to the September 2nd class that we'll be doing is the warm up. I love that. And then, if people want to implement tools, you're in a place where you're just more grounded and the warm up is so crucial. Yeah, I'm just laughing because I went to the gym the other day and I still work out at 5:30 in the morning because I'm
Oh gosh.
crazy and I love it. But I went and I did like half of the warm up because I was so excited to see all my friends. So I'm like talking and having a great time. And I get into do a mountain climber, which is like where you hold a plank and then you pull your knees up and back. And like as soon as I did that, I don't know if it was my quad or my adductor, it just seized up.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. And I was like, what just happened? And then I couldn't do the whole workout and it just everything was a mess. And it was my own fault. I didn't warm up. I just did it. I warmed up my mouth, not my leg.
Uh-huh.
And so I see that happening when folks come back from these seasons of play or chaos or just different priorities. I don't think anything's wrong with that, just different priorities. And they
Yeah.
don't warm up. I love that. Um, yeah. So getting back to some rhythms, I guess what I'm doing, because I'm in the same,
Okay.
I was just gone for like 13 days visiting family with my kids. And prior to that, I was like here for a few days and then visiting family before that. Right before that, took the boys to Universal. Like we just lived
So
our
fun.
best life. Yeah, it's been so great. But yesterday was my first day back in routine and rhythm. And I'm the same. Like I can't, my desire was like, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days per week because I feel like I've lost all my muscle. Like that's what my extreme brain says.
Yep.
And I definitely feel that, even knowing all that I know, I feel that strong. But what I do instead is I get back to the core rhythms that support me. So my morning routine is so critical for my rhythm. So got up early. It was hard to get up early
Sure.
yesterday. Yeah. This way, today was a little easier. Tomorrow, I think it'll be easier. But I added my morning routine back in, and I'm actually just going to 2 days a week of lifting. And then
Great.
my kiddo is trying to run a mile and a half 3 times. So I'm going to do a little jog with him, which is great because he's 10. So it's a very
So fun.
nicely paced at this point.
Yeah.
Like he will outrun me soon, but right now mama outruns him and I'm totally okay with that.
Atta girl.
So yeah, it was kind of the same thing. I was like, okay, that the morning routine, I'm going to try to go to the gym twice a week. And then definitely getting some fruits and veggies. My body's like, give me an apple is how it's
Same.
been feeling.
Yep. Yep.
And then I do know that like that will build. So this week will consist of that. Next week, I'll probably add an extra lifting session in. The week after that, the boys go back to school. So I'm going to have some more time for some meal prep and more intentional food patterns. So yeah, it just builds. It's a warm up. I love that. And then again, like what that does is sets us up for more of the focus, concentrated things like your 40-day challenge that you're going to do. My husband and I have some energy goals this
Okay.
season. We're both
Ooh,
coaching our boys. I'm coaching soccer. My husband's coaching my other son's football.
fun.
So fun. I'm so excited. But we're also going to like, we're transitioning to hybrid homeschool this year.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is as you know, this is our practice's busiest time of year. So we're gearing up for a very full fall. And so with that, one of my big goals is to be very organized with my food because I need to be feeding not just me, but my family. And we need a lot of energy coming up. But
Good.
I'm not there yet. Like you said, I'm doing the warm up first.
Totally, totally. I love that you're able to think about it like that though, you know?
Yeah, it's necessary. And I love your warm up analogy. It's so good. So good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have lots of fun coming up. So we have a few more episodes on this real reset warm up. We're gonna coin that Micah's term. And we are so excited to see you guys on September 2nd as we dive into some of the tools just to take your warm up into the intentional eating season and what that looks like for empowered eating. So you guys can snag all those details in the show notes, reserve your spot, make sure you're on that email list because we are emailing out tips and encouragement as this reset goes on. And we're so excited that you guys are here. Micah, I'm so glad you joined us today. Thanks for being here. And we'll be seeing lots of you in the days to come.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks, Jess.
Oh, I'm so glad you stayed here today, my friend. Don't forget, take at least one thing from today's episode and let's put it into action. One thing done over the next 7 days does far more than trying to grab about a million things and put them into practice all at once. That is where this real reset starts to take root. Don't forget, save your seat in our live masterclass on September 2nd. You can find the details in the show notes. All right, friend, I will see you next Monday. Until then, cheers and happy eating.